Okay, this is the problem solution question. The last class we have discussed that is cost classification and behavior, right? So today we'll go through different kinds of questions that you may have to face within your examination hall. Either you sit for ACCA or sit for CIMA BA2. Number one, the question I'm going through, that is actually the end part of your class notes that we have already provided you. Number one, prime cost. Prime cost, we have discussed. Prime cost is the combination of all kinds of direct cost. That is direct material, direct labor and direct other expenses, that it will provide you the prime cost. Then number two, a semi-variable cost. A semi-variable cost is a kind of specific types of cost. When you combine both variable and fixed part of cost, it will provide you the semi-variable cost. Then number three, which of the costs listed below is not a fixed cost? We have already discussed the criteria of fixed and variable cost. I will just discuss about the answer. Material used in production. The answer is D. Material used in production. That is whatever the material used in any kinds of production, that is a direct cost. And we have discussed that is all kinds of direct cost and variable cost, never fixed cost. Okay. Then production overhead comprises of, or production overhead consists of, overheads. Overheads and production overhead means all kinds of production related indirect cost. When you add up all kinds of production related indirect cost, then you will be provided, or you will have the production overheads as well. Then I show number five, a direct cost is, we have discussed in the classes, that is to be direct cost, a cost should have three different criteria. The cost should be easily identifiable from the unit, the cost should have economical value in the cost unit, and the cost should be directly involved with the production process. Okay. Then number six, which of the following item would be treated as an indirect cost? Indirect cost. Khayal karo, the example according to the question, the answer is D. Staples to fix the fabric of seat, of the seat of a chair. Staple or super glue used in fabrication of a chair, directly related to the production of the chair, right? Directly related, but it doesn't have that much economical value in comparison to the total value of the chair. That's why these are indirect costs, but directly related to the production process, right? Okay, these are indirect costs. Then number seven, by seeing the graph, what do you mean by? It's a kind of, what kind of, there is a fixed portion and the variable cost, total variable cost line actually starts from the fixed cost, right? So it's a kind of semi-variable cost. Okay. Then example 8. I will not go for all the questions, only few questions. I mean, all কয়েকটা question আলোচনা করব। বোঝা গেছে যেগুলো একই রকম, same types of question will be remained. You guys go through the same question of question in your home. It will be a home task. Okay. Then 8. See, 8. In case of 8, there are two different things. One is overhead. Overhead means cost, and another is a square meter cleaned. That is square meter cleaned and overhead cost. These two are provided. One is 12,750, and another is 2,100. Then 73950, and another is 585. So these are the square meter cleaned by individual, and these are the required cost of doing these kinds of things. So it is unit, and this is cost. By using these two things, then you have to use high-low method. High-low method, you can find out V per unit. Then by using this V with any of these costs, you can find out the fixed cost. Then whatever the question actually deserve, you can go through that. করা যাবে? Okay, then I show I will not go through 9. Then number 10. Number 10. Which description best suits the cost? The graph is just like this one. Graph is just like this one. That means whenever this amount of production is there, you need this amount of cost. As you are increase the number of production, the cost is reducing. So it is symbolized by which types of cost? Fixed cost per unit. That is, your fixed cost per unit goes down. Why? Because the same amount of fixed cost is distributed more number of units. That's why the fixed cost per unit goes down when you are producing more. Then number 11 I show what is conversion cost. According to 11, what is conversion cost? Conversion cost means that is the cost required to convert the raw material into finished goods. Cost required to convert the raw material into finished goods. Converting cost. So what will be the conversion cost? You have already raw material. To convert this, you need labor and other expenses. So except material, the cost required to convert the material, that is conversion cost. Then I show number 12 is very much important question. Number 12. Number 12 I show. A particular cost is fixed in total for a period. A particular cost is fixed in total for a period. Now, what is the effect on the cost per unit if there is a reduction in activity of 50%? Initially, a particular cost is fixed. In this type of example, it is beneficial, or you guys will be benefited if you think an example. Suppose fixed cost 10 taka, and initially production P1, that is you are initially producing 10 units. 10 taka, 10 units. So now what would be your cost per unit? Cost per unit is 10 by 10, $1 per unit. Okay? Now you are asking, that is, what is the effect on the cost per unit if there is a reduction in activity by 50%? What is your activity? This is your activity, right? You are producing 10 units. If your activity reducing 50%, what will be your activity? Suppose P2 is now 5 units. If you reduce 50%, কমলে কত হবে? 5 মিনিট হবে না? বুঝা গেল? Now what will be the cost per unit? Cost per unit, that is 10. As this is fixed cost, that's why it will remain unchanged whatever the level of activity is. So it will 5 by 2, 10 by 5, that is 2 taka per unit. That means when you are producing 10 units, then your fixed cost per unit was 1 taka. When you are reducing your activity by 50%, then your cost per unit is 2 taka. So what's the difference? 100% increased? বোঝা গেছে? এই কোশ্চেনগুলো হচ্ছে পরীক্ষায় আসে, এটা কোশ্চেন। Then আসো 13, I will not go for 13. 13 is easy. আমরা আগে ডিসকাস করে আসছি। 14 এ আসো। 14, the following charts Number 14, the following charts demonstrate various costs in relation to activity. These are different kinds of chart. You guys are asked, that is, which of the above chart represent variable cost per unit? In the class we have discussed variable cost per unit is just like fixed unit, but total variable cost is a variable unit. So variable cost V per unit variable cost per unit remain unchanged whatever the level of activity is according to our concept. That's why it will just like the fixed cost per unit. So which graph? Chart 3. Which of the above chart represent variable cost per unit? Chart 1 number বোঝা গেছে? Then I show a particular cost is number 15, another important segment. A particular cost 15. A particular cost is classified as being semi-variable. Semi-variable means a cost which have both variable part as well as fixed part. Okay. If activity increases by 10%, what will happen to the cost per unit? A particular cost is classed as semi-variable. Then the activity increases by 10%. খেয়াল করো, semi-variable. Semi-variable. That means it has both fixed part as well as variable part. Right? Now, the fact is, if the activity increases by 10%, that is when activity is positive, that means you are increasing the activity. Your variable cost will increase at a constant rate because V equal to VQ. That's why variable cost per unit is constant. So with the increased activity, your V will also increase, but at a constant rate. But fixed cost will decrease with the level of activity increase. Right? We have already discussed. And the graph was just like this one. Why the curve, not line? Because with the increased level of activity, fixed cost per unit decreases, but not in a constant way, in a proportionate way. So as a whole, cost per unit will decrease, but not in a constant way. Rather, the cost per unit decreases in a proportionate way. সবাই আমি কিন্তু এগুলো বারবার বলবো না, একবারই বলবো, সাথে সাথে বলবা, প্রবলেম। দেন আসো বাবা, ক্লাস শেষ? ক্লাস শেষ? আজকে কোনো প্রবলেম? হ্যাঁ বলছি, এটা ভিডিও করতেছি। যাও, আমি আসতেছি, ক্লাস শেষ করে আসতেছি। আচ্ছা, দেন 16, হ্যাঁ ওকে, এখানে দেখো নাম্বার 16, which of the following, আচ্ছা আমি একটু দ্রুত বলতেছি, বোঝা যাচ্ছে তো সবাই? বড় শুনতে পারবো যেহেতু। which of the description best switch the graph? It is obviously stepping, but stepping downwards. In what proportion, and when, or in which situation this downward stepping is there? That is when there is a discount option. Okay. Then I show number 17. 17 I show. Number 17. A company currently produces 6,000 units. Currently producing 6,000 units of a single product each period, incurring total variable cost 60,000, total variable cost 60,000, and fixed cost 42,000, and fixed cost 42,000. So if you add up these two things, it will provide you the total cost of producing 6,000 units. So TC equal to কত হয়? 1,02,000 টাকা। This will be your total cost, right? Okay. Then I show, তারপরে বলছে production will increases to 8,000 units, but when you are producing 8,000 units, your variable cost is 76,000, and fixed cost is কত দেয়া আছে? 50. 20,000. So if you add up these two things, then you have the TC. What's with the TC? 76 plus 50 করলে কত হয়? 6 or 7 This will be the total cost. Now the question is, what is the reduction in total cost per unit? Reduction in cost per unit comparing the cost of 8,000 units period rather than 6,000. So, if you divide this by 6,000, you can find out cost per unit here. And if you divide this by 8,000, it will provide you the cost per unit here. By comparing these two, you can find out the reduction in cost per unit. Okay? Then আসো 18 আর 19 এ দেখো, 18 এ বলছে a cost unit is আর 19 এ বলছে a cost center is। আমরা যে বললাম না যে আরেকটা চ্যাপ্টার আমি শিট দিব, আজকে দিব, ওখানে এরকম কিছু এক্সট্রা কস্টিং রিলেটেড জিনিস থাকবে। আমি এখানে বলে দিই a cost unit and a cost center. This is duster, right? Cost unit, individual product or service for which costs are ascertained. Those are cost unit. But depend upon the criteria of the business, this cost unit may be different. Think yourself. That is, when you are buying this individual pen from a retailer, you are asking to buy one pen, the retailer can sell you one pen, one single unit. So for retailer viewpoint, this single unit is a cost unit. But red leaf manufacturer, they are not selling by each individual unit. Manufacturer কি করতেছে? তারা একটা করে বিক্রি করতেছে। They are selling by card or box. Suppose a box of 12 pen. So for manufacturer, box is their cost unit. For retailer, individual pen is the cost unit. So whenever you guys are asked about the cost, this is very much important. When you guys are asking to find out the cost unit, first of all, see the criteria of the business and then think a little more. So for retailer, individual pen is cost unit, but manufacturer, box, even a card may be the cost unit. Then I show cost center. A cost center is individual product or service location where the costs are ascertained or where the costs are accumulated. Suppose to manufacture this pen, there is a production department. To run the production department, you have to accumulate different kinds of cost. Production is a cost center. Administrative department is a cost center. Accounts department is a cost center. That is an individual product or service location for which you have to ascertain the cost. You have to accumulate the cost. Clear? Now, I will not go for 20. 21. A company has to pay royalty. It is another important question. A company has to pay royalty $1 per unit to the designer of a product which it manufactures. So what kind of product, what kind of cost this royalty is? Royalty, material cost, labor cost, মিলে কোনো কিছুর সাথে রয়্যালটি কোনো ম্যাটেরিয়াল, লেবার, আদার এক্সপেন্সেস, এটাই আদার এক্সপেন্সেসের মধ্যে পড়ে। আরও ডিফারেন্সিয়েট করি। সাপোজ I am the writer of a book and you are the publisher. You want to publish, you want the authority from me to publish my book. When I will provide you that authority? Initially you have to provide me a royalty. Only with the royalty, then I will provide you the authority to publish my book. That means without the royalty, you cannot have the authority to publish my book. That's why royalty is directly related to the production process. Right? Directly related to the production process. Without royalty, you cannot go for producing the books or go for publishing the books. That's why royalty is a kind of direct expenses. But what kinds of direct expenses? Direct other expenses. Clear? Okay. Then 22. Which of the following item might be a suitable cost unit within the credit control department? Initially we have discussed, that is, when you have to identify the cost unit, then think about or think a little while what will be the cost unit, but it obviously depends upon the criteria of the business. So here you have to find out the cost unit of a credit control department. Credit control department. What kinds of service they are providing, or what kinds of service provided by the credit control department? They are provide credit to individual customer, right? Customer ke credit deya na, loan deya. Then they maintain or they provide invoices. তোমরা দেখছো ক্রেডিট কার্ড যখন যারা ক্রেডিট কার্ড ওরা মাসে একটা ইনভয়েস আসে। So producing that invoice is a kind of cost. Then আসো check received and processed. Whatever the check actually processed by credit control department, that is a kind of costing for them. Then another thing is customer account. To maintain each individual customer account, cost is related. So depend upon the criteria of the business, that with credit control department, their costing will be individual account, check processed, even the invoices they provide to their customers. Clear? Then I will go for another important question, that is 25. 25 is very much important question. 25. Here you guys are provided unit 100 unit and 140. That means when you are producing more, 140 rather than 100. That means you are producing more. Some costs are there. W. Suppose W. W is 8,000 here and 10,560 is here. 8,000 here and 10,560 is here. Now the fact is, if you are asked what type of cost W is, then you have to find out cost per unit in every cases. 8,000 भाग 100 means कतो 80 10,560 by 140 कतो আসে একটু বলতে পারো? ক্যালকুলেটর আছে কার কাছে? কত আসে? দেখো 75.44. Here go. When you are finding cost per unit, here the cost per unit is 80, but here the cost per unit is 75 decreased. That means when you are increasing your production, some specific kind of cost is reducing per unit basis. So what kinds of cost is this? কোন cost এরকম হতে পারে? When you are increasing the production, a specific kinds of cost which is reducing, এটা কমতেছে কিসে? Cost per unit. So it is obviously semi-variable cost, right? Obviously semi-variable cost. মাথায় কি আসছে? Fixed মনে হচ্ছে? If the cost is fixed, then for all kinds of production, the total cost will be same, 8,000. যদি এরকম থাকতো যে এখানেও 8,000 এখানেও 8,000, তাহলে আমি চোখ বন্ধ করে বলতাম কি এটা ফিক্সড কস্ট। বাট কস্ট পার ইউনিট ডিক্রিজিং আমরা দেখে আসছি কোথায়? অ্যাজ ইউ আর ইনক্রিজিং দ্য টোটাল প্রোডাকশন, the fixed cost per unit goes down. That's why the total cost per unit always go down. So this is obviously example of semi-variable cost. Then আসো x. Suppose এখানে দেখো x এ বলছে 5000, এখানে 5000. So either you are producing 100, the cost is 5000, or you are producing 140, the cost is 5000. So this is fixed cost. Then আসো y. আমি উপরেরগুলো মুছে ফেলি, হ্যাঁ? Then আসো y 6500 and 9100. If you find out, careful, when you are producing more, this type of cost is increasing. It should not providing any kinds of data. So to clarify the cost, you need to find out the cost per unit. 6500 ভাগ 100 কত হয়? 65. 9100 ভাগ 140 কত হয় একটু বের করো? 9100 ভাগ 140 কত হয়? 65. তাহলে খেয়াল করো তো, আমরা এরকম একটা কথা বলছিলাম, V per unit remain constant whatever the level of activity is, but total V will always changes if the quantity changes, right? তাহলে খেয়াল করো, total cost increasing. Why? Because you are increasing the quantity, but cost per unit remain same. So what kinds of cost is this? This is a kind of variable cost. তাহলে খেয়াল করো, by calculating the cost per unit, if the cost per unit is same, that is variable cost. If the cost per unit reduce, that is semi-variable cost. বোঝা গেছে? Then I show y z. Z এ বলা হচ্ছে দেখো 6700 and another is 8580. So if you find out the cost per unit, 6700 increasing percent, but you need to find out the cost per unit by 100, that is 67, and this is 8580 140. What was that?
61.7.
61 point something. Here the cost per unit is reducing. So what kinds of cost is this? Is semi-variable cost. Clear? Okay. এরপরে যেগুলো আছে সব একই, শুধুমাত্র আমি গ্রাফগুলো আলোচনা করব। গ্রাফে আসো 27. In 27, which of these graphs represent a linear variable cost when the vertical axis represents the total cost per unit? So you have to find out the linear variable cost line. What will be the cost? V equal to VQ. With this V, we have discussed with the increased production volume, this total will be increasing, but in a constant way, and it will always start from the zero unit. That's why the line is just like this. But if you are guys asked to find out the V per unit, so it will be fixed cost per unit, whatever the level of activity is. Then 28, number 28. Number 28. Which of the following graph or which of these graph represent the fixed cost? তোমরা নিজেরা পারবা, যাবে। আমি একটু ডিফারেন্ট গ্রাফ যেটা আছে সেটা বলি। আচ্ছা এখানে আমি দুটা গ্রাফ এমনি জাস্ট ফর ডিসকাশন দুটা গ্রাফ থেকে কোশ্চেন আসে, হ্যাঁ এখানে আছে কোশ্চেন তোমরা পাবা, ইম্পর্টেন্ট তোমরা নিজেরাই দিতে পারবা। দুটা গ্রাফের মধ্যে ডিফারেন্সটা দেখো। দেখো তো একই রকম দেখতে না গ্রাফ, আমরা একই রকম বানাচ্ছি, ঠিক আছে পার্থক্য আছে দেখো, right? Two graphs look like the same, but the meaning is different. Meaning is different. In graph A, up to this level of activity, that means up to 1000 activity, your variable cost is this much. That's why this total variable cost. As you go beyond 1000, then another variable cost B2 will be charged for extra unit beyond 1000. Suppose initial end from the slope, this is slope, another is slope, নিচে না? সো এখানে অবশ্যই V1 বড় হবে V2 থেকে, কোন যত বড় হয় তত বেশি হবে। So as for example you can say up to 1000 level per unit variable cost is suppose as for example 4 টাকা. If you go beyond 1000, excess of 1000 per unit cost suppose as for example 3 টাকা. So what will be the cost of, as for example 1000, what will be the cost of 1500 unit? If you guys are asked the question just like this, here the cost of variable cost is initial 1000 into 4 টাকা according to our example, plus extra কত, excess 500, that 500 variable cost will be 3 টাকা per unit. বুঝা গেছে? But here the thing is different. Different means join করা হয় না। এর মানে হচ্ছে suppose as for example up to 1000 level your variable cost per unit is V1. But if you go beyond 1000 level, then excess as well as the previous one as a whole will be provided lesser price or least price. That is, as for example, what will be the cost of 1500 here? আমরা এখানে দেখে আসছি initial 1000 into 4, then excess of 1500 into 3, মানে excess to কম। কিন্তু এখানে কি হচ্ছে, if you go beyond 1000, then as a whole total will be cost in a lesser price. That means here the total 1500 will be cost as 3 rather 4. পার্থক্য বোঝা গেছে, ডিফারেন্স বোঝা গেছে? এখানে 1000 পর্যন্ত একটা ভ্যারিয়েবল কস্ট চার্জ হবে, 1000 এর উপরে গেলে আরেকটা ভ্যারিয়েবল কস্ট চার্জ হবে যেটা আগেরটার থেকে কম। প্রথমে 1004, পরের 500, 3 টাকা করে। বোঝা গেছে? এখানে 1000 পর্যন্ত একটা ভ্যারিয়েবল কস্ট চার্জ হবে, যদি 1000 এর উপরে যায় আরেকটা ভ্যারিয়েবল কস্ট চার্জ হবে যেটা আগের থেকে কম। কিন্তু বলা হচ্ছে 1000 এর বেশি গেলে এক্সেস তো এক্সেস, আগেও যা সেই সবগুলো একটা নির্দিষ্ট ভ্যারিয়েবল কস্ট যেটা আগেরটার থেকে কম। তাহলে এজ এ টোটাল 3 টাকা করে। বাংলা বললে মনে একটু ভালো বোঝা। সেকেন্ড লেভেলে গিয়ে কি করবা? বোঝা গেছে? এই গ্রাফটা একটু ইম্পর্টেন্ট, ডিফারেন্ট। আর বাদ বাকি যেসব কোশ্চেন আছে তোমরা নিজেরা পাবা, আমি সবগুলোই দেখাচ্ছি। ওকে, থ্যাংক ইউ। আচ্ছা এখন একটু